No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to smack it raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Smackin Raw podcast, the number one wrestling podcast on Pornhub, where solo and strap-on are separate categories, but we have brought them together today for the title of our show. I am your host, the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Matt Ritter. I am here with my co-hosts this evening. First and foremost, on Mexican Independence Day for at least another half an hour, 35 minutes in Chicago. Daddy Delgado, the Sultan of Spitter Swallow. Vince, how you doing?
Happy Mexican Independence Day, guys. I'm here with my flag. I have my Chicago Bulls Mexican flag t-shirts. I have my cervezas, and to keep myself nice and comfy, my Mexican blanket.
I'm ready. All ready to go.
I'm ready. Willing and Gable.
And of course, because Vince always has to give a paragraph before I introduce anyone else, from the Sheelite Showcase, she is the shaman of Sheelite and the host of Inside the Mind of, and in the crowd, Miss Katie Kinsey, baby.
Hey, I'm back off the fucking bench. I'm staying off the rest of the year.
And so you last, say. But certainly not least, ladies and gentlemen, you have seen him on here plenty of times by now, and absolutely should know who he is. He is my personal favorite Canadian. That isn't Trish Stratus. From the Mr. Warren Hayes show, Mr. Warren Hayes.
Now I'm compelled to get some work done.
Don't need it. You're beautiful.
How you doing, guys? Thank you again for having me on. It's always a pleasure. But I didn't want to interrupt, but I have to ask Vince. First of all, happy,
thank you,
Mexican Day. What makes your blanket Mexican?
So it's this like
it doesn't have to be a big thing, but apparently it's going to be a big thing.
It's going to be a big thing.
It's an Italian blanket that he put an eagle on.
No, shut the fuck up. No, it's this like very warm traditional Mexican blanket that always has like a bear or a tiger or something on it, and it's like the most warmest thing in the world.
Now, is it fleece?
I have no idea what it is. I just know it's Mexican. That's all I know. That's all I know. I didn't question the material. I just knew from an infant, it kept me warm at night.
Okay. Well, look, good. I'm happy. I'm satisfied with this response. Thank you. Thank you, Vince.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Warren. You're
welcome. No Jesus on it.
There's a Jesus hanging around somewhere in my apartment.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Jesus might be in the chat.
Jeebus is in the chat, and he said we are to refer to you as Chente for Mexican Independence Day.
I'm okay with that. I'll allow it.
Let's plug a couple things. First and foremost, if you guys enjoyed the opening intro of our show, that is from Jaylan Justin Landry, who has remixed our intro, who is a fantastic composer. So shout out to Justin. He's also done all of the stuff for Spitter Swallow, Creation World, Katie's shows, Inside the Mind of, In the Crowd, so on and so forth. Get Your Podcast, Young Kings Wrestling, that whole little tight-knit crew we have. All of that music was produced by Justin. So if you're looking for something for your show, hit him up.
Yes, sir.
Got to plug our boy. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I got it upside down. We have the Pro Wrestling Pro Choice t-shirts designed by Jizzy of the Deadass Girls that are for sale both on Katie's Teespring and the Creation World Teespring. The money from Katie's Teespring is donated to Planned Parenthood, and the money from our Teespring every month is donated to the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project. All proceeds going to those two causes. So if you want to support women's right to choose, as well as get yourself a dope-ass shirt, please go check those out, buy those, and help support a good cause. And while we're talking about good causes, as always, Young Kings Wrestling has those awesome NWO-style Black Lives Matter t-shirts that I'm surprised not a single person is actually wearing this week, because normally someone's got it on. But all of that money is put into a fund by TC and donated to various GoFundMes directly from Young Kings Wrestling to support Black people. He didn't want it to be just about police brutality and death. He wanted to support, youths who are looking to, get some money for their basketball teams or their whatever sports they may be playing, or, help with other GoFundMes that are created in that community to help support Black people. So please go donate to that as well and get yourself a dope shirt there as well.
Yes.
All right. On to business. Now, Mr. Warren Hayes, you were not supposed to be alone. You were supposed to be what I planned on calling you for the night, the first gentleman of the Kristen Ashley show. But Kristen Ashley, unfortunately, was not able to make it tonight.
This is going to break her heart. This is absolutely going to break her heart. This is, she'd dig it so much.
However, she was going to come on to discuss a little bit of the PWI 500, which she was a part of, which is recently dropped. Specifically, the women that made that list, which was awesome. Were you a part of that? Do you want to talk about it a little bit, or?
I was not a part of the committee, so I'm free to speak to a certain degree, because I have ties to PWI. I'm going to be on the I am. What am I talking about? I am on the Women's 150 committee again this year, which I'm super excited about. I'm very happy that they decided to keep me on board first and foremost. Look, the 150 it's the 150 and the 500, but we're talking specifically about the 500 here, is a process, right? Like it's a committee that comes together to try and put together the best snapshot of the year in pro wrestling, right? And I think that one of the things that gets sure, Vince, take your shirt off. I mean, it is Mexicans Day today. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's Mexican Independence Day, but I have like my Mexico flag.
You have the flag behind you. It's good enough. The people want it.
No.
Are you telling me that you don't have a Mexican flag tattooed across your chest that you could show
Not
us?
Not yet. I've been saving up.
Or
for
painted.
It.
Like when you go to a football game, right?
Yeah.
You take your shirt
I was gonna get like red and green Sharpies and do it myself, but I just didn't have the time. Mucha ropa.
So there's a lot of stuff about the 500 and the list that PWA put out that, to put it mildly, create a lot of discussion, right? Because the criteria is not just entirely based on the work, right? And how good a performer is a professional wrestler in a ring, which a lot of people who latch onto lists always, that's where we gravitate to, maybe first and foremost. There's a lot of stuff that gets involved. And I'm trying to recall just off the top of my head, but on the work does count, but the influence as well. How successful a year had you been? Roman Reigns Roman Reigns is at number one, is on top of the list, and I think it's hard to pursue an argument otherwise, right? Like the guy has been on top of the biggest wrestling company in the world for the entirety of the evaluation period, which, by the way, is from June 2021 to July,
which is important,
2022, which is crucial, right? It's not just because Dax Harwood is having a really good 4 months doesn't mean he's going to be in the top 10. And by the way,
or John Moxley.
But there's a compelling, hang on a second, one thing at a time. But as far as Roman goes, I think it's really crucial that there's really no other option He's the champion. He's unified the championships at the biggest pay-per-view, the biggest wrestling show of the year. Like, there's certain things that you can understand, and you can maybe say, "Oh yeah, but Will Ospreay is such a better workman than Roman Reigns," you know. And it's like, sure, okay, but Roman is still a very, very solid pro wrestler, right? It's not the same type of guy. And look, there's all these implications here that follow up. And yes, you know, the Jon Moxley being completely snuffed out of the top 10. Personally, I disagree with. I don't think he should have been like kept out of the top 10 at all. Because one of the things that is evaluated is, you know, presence in the industry, right? And, you know, quality of competition and so on and so forth. This is a guy who wrestles everywhere. He wrestles everywhere, you know.
He was also off for a little bit of time during the evaluation period.
But Big E made it to number 10.
That is true. That is true.
See, that's the thing, right? And honestly, listen, here's the thing, and this is crucial. I don't want to discredit any of the work that was put on by the committee, because I wasn't there, right? And that's the thing. It's like I wasn't there to sit down and make cases for anyone. You know, if I had been there, I would have made a stronger case for Shingo Takagi, who just was bumped out of the number 10 spot at 11. I did
Bingo,
like this world. I was ready to burn the world down. But
Well-
and just as a quick side note, just because you know, I know this is why you had Kristen on. The fact that there's more and more women also showing up on the 500 is fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic, and it shows that it's proof that the quality of competition for them is out there. That's always been the case. But on top of that, the fact that they are being able to compete for top championships, open championships, right? Because the misconception oftentimes is, well, if they do intergender, they're going to be on the 500. Sure, yes, but the idea is, are they competing for a world title? Are they, not just a divisional title? Are they competing for a world title, an open title? That's all. That's the basic criteria. That's why you have someone like Jordan Grace, who is so really high on the list, because that's what Jordan's been doing all year long, and Trisha Dora as well, and so on and so forth. These are titles that are genderless, I guess, gender fluid, no, genderless in this case. So if the women are able to compete for it, well, there'll be more women on the 500, and I think that's super exciting.
I agree. A couple thoughts that I have about it. Being that it is the evaluation period, I completely understand why Seth Rollins wasn't number one. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, next year it should be Jon Moxley. Fuck that. It should be Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins did the one thing that no one else could do, and he buried Matt Riddle for the last few months. And it is fantastic that he's number one in my heart going forward forever. So Seth Rollins for number one next year. I don't care if he wins the title or not.
I'll endorse it. I'm cool with that.
It's very interesting. And when I do get Kristen on within the next couple weeks, I can't wait to hear her side of being on the committee and her input on, like you said, the women who actually were on the list and where they were on the list. Because I think some people saw women on the list and were wondering, oh, well, why is Bianca Belair not on here? So on and so forth. A lot of questions were being asked, and the criteria for the women to A, make this list, and then B, how high they got. And then, like you said, there was a lot of discussion points. I saw people who were like, oh, well, you just made up your own criteria. Well, yeah, they're a committee. That's what they do. But just because you don't think something is prestigious doesn't mean it's not prestigious outside of your little bubble here in the United States. Like,
I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like, I think I might know what conversation you're referring to. You know, if you're like, if look, a tournament like WXW puts on in Germany. Is that the one? That's the conversation you're talking about? Exactly. The tournament that they put on, the 16 karat gold title, it is a long-standing, prestigious tournament. If you follow, international wrestling abroad, it is the biggest tournament in Europe, right? Like that's the one that all European wrestlers are knocking at the door to try and bust into. That's what they want to do. They even bring in, people from North America to add, they invite them in, not unlike the G1 in Japan, where they invite outsiders into New Japan to compete there. Gaijin, exactly. So the idea is like, well, I don't know what the 16 karat gold. Well, that's on you. That's on you, because it is for people who follow that in Europe and who know exactly what it is and who follow international wrestling. They're like, yeah, Jonathan Gresham winning the 16 karat gold is a big fucking deal, and a lot of the dudes you're watching on Friday night SmackDown and Monday night Raw have been winners of the 16 karat gold tournament as well. So it's, yeah, you might not know it, but these are oftentimes boosts to one's career.
It'd be very interesting if WWE actually, mentioned things like that and talked about accomplishments outside. And I think that's the biggest problem is we, especially Americans, I will speak for Americans here, need to realize that AEW and WWE may be, at least in our stratosphere, two of the biggest wrestling companies in the world, probably. But that doesn't mean that they're the only wrestling companies and only those championships and only those tournaments and only those wins matter and nothing else outside of it or our knowledge matters as much. And that you brought points to that tournament as well. And that is someone who, again, is not familiar with the tournament, but I'm not going to knock you for saying it. If they had that tournament on AEW, I'd expect a promo package or something to tell me why it matters. I'm not going to go research that myself. That is where Warren and I differ. If you're going to throw this fucking tournament on my TV, at least give me a package to let me know why I should give a fuck about it, because I don't. But
a minimum 4 weeks of build for you, right, Matt?
Exactly. Minimum 4 weeks. That's what I need. I like foreplay. Also, in news and rumors, BTE canceled until further notice because the EVPs are suspended and supposedly reaching out to WWE for jobs that I don't want to see them get. So, stay where you're at. I'd appreciate that. Don't go anywhere. Yeah. Anyone sad that they're not going to be able to see BTE till further notice?
No,
BTE hasn't been good since
the exorcism of Cody Rhodes.
But it hasn't been good since Brody Lee passed away.
True.
Yeah.
Like consistently, because I enjoy. I'm not as ravenous as some people are with BT, where it's like, oh, they look at everything and then they look for the Easter eggs, And I like the jokes; it's fine. And I thought that the Dark Order stuff got them over. That's how they got over. Mm-hmm. But it was a lot was carried on Brody Lee's wonderful shoulders, and I think since then it's just been more misses than hits.
Yeah.
Mr. Warren Hayes, the first gentleman of the Kristen Ashley show, if you're still listening, Kristen, did not actually bury the PWI 500 committee that bad. So,
what do you mean that bad? Not at all, even.
She said she wanted to see how badly, and you didn't really. So, you didn't.
I didn't at all, actually.
No, not really at all. What else we got here? Apparently, it was huge news that Malachi went on vacation with his wife. Sportster found that very interesting and drew a whole bunch of conclusions about a married couple being on vacation together. So,
I fucking hate people. They've been married for how fucking long? He's been in AEW how fucking long? Enough with the stupid shit. Just let them go on vacation and fucking enjoy themselves. Stop being stupid.
It's the weird Malachi Black scene with WWE Superstar. Well, no shit. They're married. Of course they're seen together.
Of course.
Weird shit. I hope Malachi's all well and can't wait to see what he does when this time off is over, whether it's back in AEW or somewhere else. I know where I'd personally like to see him. We'll see what happens.
In your bedroom?
Yes, okay. Actually.
Right.
That is number one on my list. Also, last but not least, Sasha and Naomi have just been killing it the last couple weeks, walking red carpets and runways. Sasha did the Princess Leia for the Andor red carpet and all of that. Just absolutely fantastic. They're out here together, which is what I find most important. It's not just Sasha. It's not just Naomi. There's solidarity there after everything that happened, and everything they're doing together and showing the value that they have outside of this company. If you don't bring us back, and we don't need to go back, look at what we can do without you, which is fantastic.
Exactly.
And they look so happy doing it. So
and they look so damn good doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
I absolutely think that I'm more and more convinced that they're coming back because Vince is gone, you know, and Laurinaitis and all the assholes, right? And I'm more and more convinced that they are eventually going to come back. But I think what they're doing is brilliant because, like you guys said, they're just creating their mystique outside of the company. So showing, you know, Trips and, you know, whoever's going to be managing on that end, look at how valuable we can be outside of the ring. Like in the ring is one thing, but look at what we can do outside. You know, Disney wants me around all the time now, you know, and I think the key here, like Matt pointed out, the key is that they're the two together. They walked out together, and there they are. They're hitting everything hard together, and I think that's fantastic.
I would not use that phrasing.
Oh God!
Because that is our last piece of news. Apparently, the narrative has been controlled, and it is now a basically disbanded faction that is part of the NWA. The little pet project, not an indie. Come argue with us in a closet. All of the most hated wrestlers in the industry who no longer have jobs band together and don't become successful is now at an end. Narratives have been controlled, and what we figured out is without a big company backing you, you guys all suck. So there's that.
Yeah.
Are we really surprised?
No, I wasn't at all.
I thought you were going somewhere else with those news and EC3.
Would you like to talk about? Because I mean,
we can.
We'll have to wait. You'll have to wait because there's somebody else who had some very interesting thoughts on it. But essentially, for those of you who don't know, see, I was under the impression that the going narrative was Velveteen Dream put cameras inside the toilets and was like filming people from in the toilet as they approached it. But apparently what happened was a few NXT superstars got together, decided they wanted to cosplay as Tony Khan and throw a Coke party, during which Velveteen Dream has come out and let us know not only does he not know how a phone works or how to record a video, despite being younger than me, but that during the Coke party, he went into the bathroom, he set his phone down, left it in there, and EC3 thought that he put it in there to record EC3 going to the bathroom, which led to EC3's comments about how sick Patrick is and how he was trying to record people in the bathroom at his house and so on and so forth. And he was nice enough not to mention the names of the other people that were at the party, but did tell us one of them is us on Monday Night Raw, or Rod, as Mr. Warren Hayes said, which I think is more apropos in this conversation, Monday Night Rod. So yeah. I don't like. I kind of believe in both. Like, I could definitely see Patrick doing some shit like that, but also I could, if you're on cocaine, I could completely understand you being super paranoid and freaking out because you're having preconceived notions about somebody, and EC3 seems like somebody who would have those kind of preconceived notions about somebody. I'm not going to lie. So, like, I don't really know
both lying. I think
what barrel I'm throwing my fish in. Probably neither, but I do much more like the narrative of the fact that Velveteen Dream was hiding tiny cameras in EC3's toilet to watch him take a shit. So
I hate you so
much. I'm controlling the narrative. That's where we're at.
Stop. Please stop.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you have some, Vince?
No, it's just like
okay.
I thought Vince had thoughts on this. He's like,
he's the one who literally brought it up.
No, I just was making the remark of like, oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with the news stories, about controlling your narrative. I thought you were going to the Velveteen Dream EC3 stuff, which
I
is
did
why.
for you.
Yeah.
I did
I
too.
just wasn't sure if you were going to go that way or not because
Oh, okay.
yeah, I didn't have thoughts on it. I thought it would be something you'd want to cover.
Well, I appreciate that. And we did. So now we can move into Mr. Warren Hayes. Spit or swallow, sir.
Okay. Well, it's the new form, right? New formula.
Yeah. Anything that you watch that you enjoy that you want to spit or swallow.
Okay. Let's start in nice and smooth. Something I think everyone is going to be pretty much in agreement with. Nothing really controversial. Kevin Owens' promo on Monday Night Raw. In fact, Kevin Owens in general, since becoming the prize fighter again, has been nothing but hits. But this promo that he did, absolutely remarkable. And what I particularly liked about it is how he slid in some just enough information where he's letting Austin Theory know that, look, you were handpicked by someone who ain't here anymore, pal. You were someone's pet project. Now you've got to step it up because look at what I'm doing. And he didn't say that explicitly, but it's look at me now. Look at Seth Rollins, because we have to be completely frank with each other. Since the Cody feud, Seth Rollins has been nothing but hits as well. Nothing but hits.
100%.
And this is this is by design at this point, right? And you can even tell that Seth and there's no surprise here. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins are Paul's boys, right? Paul Levesque's boys, to be precise here. It's their dude. It's his guys, right? So of course, Seth's work, I find his character work just not always being like the cackling, obnoxious dude, having this little streak of like fuck you energy to him too. I really like it. Like to me, he hasn't been this interesting in a while, and Kevin Owens has always been interesting, and just the fact that he can be unleashed again is fantastic. I thought his promo was absolutely remarkable, and with the little content for those of us who are following along at home behind the scenes, masterful stuff from a guy, right, for which English is not his first language. Never forget that.
I always do.
He's in my top 5 favorite Canadians, but still below you and Trish. So, no, I agree.
I'm coming for you, Trish. Just wait till you see what kind of implants I can get on my ass. You just wait, Trish.
That will put you over the mark. No, the whole thing with KO was fantastic. Him calling him, saying, "You're a dime a dozen. You're not the future. I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be this carbon copy Vince McMahon thing. I want to be me." It was pure passion and motivation. And basically, he's like, this is how you become everything you think you are. You're telling everyone you are. And all Austin Theory can come back with is, oh, yeah, well, even though you don't want to be like me, you'll never be like me. And then Kevin's like, maybe you weren't listening, and then slaps him in the face to let it sink in.
Taste out of the boy's mouth, as he should. Shut the kid up, for fuck's sake.
Broke his nose, too.
Broke his nose, and then
Did
told him
break
he
his
broke his
nose.
nose.
Was that legit?
I don't think he was bleeding from the nose. I don't think it actually got broke. But Kevin said he broke it, and I believe everything Kevin Owens says. So
yeah, he's a saint.
Canadian would never lie to me, right?
Right, Warren?
I don't think so.
Come on.
See, Warren tells the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You guys got anything else on KO or Austin?
No, I disagree with everything Warren said. I loved it. It was on my swallows as well, so I'm crossing that off the list.
Yeah, I mean, that was like one of the things I had originally when we were like gonna just narrow our things down. That was definitely one I had on there. Because KO, like Warren said, since becoming the prize fighter again, has been incredible. The promos, the in-ring work, using the pop-up powerbomb again, fantastic. So,
as long as his knees are okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'd love him to bring back the Steinerlizer which was the move that he used as Kevin Steen on the Indies, but it's too dangerous. That's the thing. It's like it's a really dangerous move to pull off. But
can you describe it? Because there are a lot of moves that you name that I don't think you're actually giving real names to. Up. I forget what the last one was, but I'm like, there's no way someone called that, and then someone went in the comments and like, oh no, actually it was this person back in 2002. I'm like, oh okay.
You pull up someone. You pull up someone into a power bomb, right? So you lift him up as if you're putting him into a power bomb, but you're holding on to his neck, right? And then you like sort of like this, kind of like an inverted muscle buster. You know how Joe holds the muscle buster. Okay. The guy's on his shoulders, but instead as a power bomb, holding on to the neck, and he tosses him into the turnbuckles.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. Into the turnbuckle? Goddamn.
Sounds dangerous as shit.
It is. It legitimately is.
We've seen Seth Rollins almost end careers just doing a regular buckle bomb, let alone a buckle bomb buster muscle fucker corner thing.
Yep.
Muscle buster fucker.
Yeah, muscle buster fucker. There we go. See, that's what you should call it too. Why not?
See, and here's the thing. Shout out to Pretty Kyle who's here. I'd love to Steenerize myself, but I have to get some ribs removed.
Oh my god.
It's funny you say that because that was that whole thing about Marilyn Manson, and I love my Abaddon shirt, but it looks like Marilyn Manson on my Abaddon.
It kind of does.
It really does. So, Katie Spitter Swallow.
Warren kind of briefly brought him up. Yeah, that's what made me laugh. I'm swallowing everything Seth fucking Rollins. I know Matt's very happy about this. Putting Riddle in his place again, because ain't nobody want to see that anymore. How many times do you need your head stomped into the mat to realize he doesn't fucking care about you anymore, bro? Riddle's like that clingy ex-girlfriend that won't let go. Rollins is just trying to move on with his life. Riddle's got to back off. But now we're getting Rollins and the almighty U.S. champion Bobby Lashley, and that shit's gonna hit. And I'm so excited. As much as I love Bobby as champion, Seth needs a championship. It's been too damn long. So
this is one of the things I did take notes for. Would you like to hear what I have down on my notes for this?
Oh, I love hearing
definitely.
Swallow. Seth says, fuck Riddle, fuck a rematch. I want a belt. Riddle, who, despite his personal problems, still has not learned that no means no, attacks Seth Rollins anyway. Judgment Day tries to recruit Riddle. Damian says, hey, let's go from threesomes to group sex, but all he wants is non-consensual activity. Shocker. So he repays their kindness with violence. Balor defeats Riddle clean as fuck and gets stomped. Riddle gets stomped. Maybe now he'll learn that no means no. And it looks like we're moving on to Bobby versus Seth, which is a plus.
Matt, honestly, can you like narrate, like do like an audio, like an audible book or whatever it's called of Raw, like a whole Raw episode? Because I'd love to hear you just like describe Raw to me.
I mean, that's literally what he used to do in the old format of the show.
Well, maybe I miss it, okay? Maybe I long for the old days.
Maybe if we get an episode of just you and me, we will go back to the old format for an episode live.
It won't happen this year. I'm so sorry.
So, yeah, Katie's got goals. She's still down 1, and Vince has the tiebreaker right now.
Yeah, and then on top of that, Katie will show up whether she's on vacation, whether she has no internet, whether she has COVID. She's gonna show up regardless.
I'm not called the hardest working woman in podcasting for a fucking reason. So,
did anyone else think it was interesting that after all the rumors about Matt Riddle and Damian Priest and their illicit sexual activities, that he was trying to involve him in the Sexecutioners and recruit him, that he was the one that went out there and was like, hey, like, we got this whole BDSM cult. Why don't you come join us? I can whip you. It'll be fun. Like, back in NXT.
That's interesting.
I mean, there's Rhea and Dominic already, like a thing. Like, it could be a whole situation. Like, they are the Sexecutioners for a reason. You dubbed them properly there. They will dress up as Kitty and come on the show. Wait, what?
But yeah, no, Seth being like, dude, I'm ready for a fucking title, and then going after the US title, and keeping that title important, I'm all for that too, because Bobby versus Seth will bang. Vince,
Yes.
spit or swallow?
Okay, so I only have one spit for the whole show, but I think I'm gonna save it towards the end. I don't want to like sour the mood, so I'm gonna start with the biggest swallow of the week, and I'm just gonna blow my load. Solo Sikoa returning to NXT, capturing the North American title, adding more gold to the bloodline, the love and respect that he has for Sami Zayn. I'm just swallowing Solo Sikoa thriving this week. Like he went ahead, beat Carmelo Hayes, got the strap that we all wanted him to get, and now he's out here not only doing that, he's putting on bangers, defending it right away. He's a defending fighting champion. His first show back, he's already defending the title.
You know what makes this even better, though, Vince?
Yes.
There's a narrative on the Smackin' Raw podcast. There's a little something called the Curse of Riddle, since we just got off the subject of that, and how everyone associated with Matt Riddle just has a terrible time. And we thought maybe Wesley had broken out of the Curse of Riddle. He won. He was going to get voted in. He was going to get that match. And then here come Trick Mello to stomp his ass into the ground in the locker room and keep Matt Riddle's friends where they belong, in the mud with him. Matt's shitty kids are down again. Solo comes in, takes the spot, wins the title, and then carries it off to the main roster and is defending it, on SmackDown tonight, like for shits and giggles, because that's what
he loves Sami
Bloodline
Zayn.
does.
And he loves Sami Zayn.
And he loves Sami Zayn, and that is important.
Yes. I don't know what's Jay's problem, but he needs to get with the program.
Jay has PTSD. Roman mentally abused this man for a solid year at least. That man's got internal hard issues, bro. It's going to take a while.
He beat him harder than Joker did to Jason Todd.
So you have siblings, right, Vince?
I have a few. Somewhere.
Would you consider yourself the favorite child?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, we all know that's not true. So essentially what's going on here is while you consider yourself the favorite child and you think that, you're so giving and loving to your parents and you see all this, there's another child, maybe like a younger brother, maybe it's your sister who comes along and your parents just treat them a little better than you feel that they deserve to be treated or that you're getting treated, and you get jealous, you get mad, you're not happy. And unlike on Pornhub, where this turns into some weird step sibling thing, it plays out the way it does here, where he is just angry and mad the entire time at Sami for getting the recognition that he feels he deserves because he was the first Uso to join Roman Reigns. He was the first one. Jimmy was off. He was gone. Jay was there. Main event Uso, and now here comes Sami, who's not even blood.
He's the
Vince.
Stepchild.
He's the stepchild that Roman loves better. Yeah.
Sometimes it happens that way,
Yeah.
The redheaded stepchild, literally.
Literally. But yeah, just swallowing Solo, man. Like I love everything about this. And you know what's great is that I saw Matt tweeting. I was like, I don't even care if it doesn't make sense. I just wanted it to happen. And I'm like, now I really wanted it to happen. I hope it happens just to make Matt happy. And it made me happy all around. And then it kind of made me think, I'm like, normally Matt wouldn't want this because he's a SmackDown superstar going back to NXT, the NXT title.
There is no brand split.
But he doesn't care about the brand split because it doesn't exist.
Brand split's not real.
However,
it's going to matter in a month and a half when they're going to start telling us that it's the battle for brand supremacy. It's coming.
I will
the only time
every episode in that build about how there is no brand split and they're full of shit and I hate it and they're stupid and blah, blah, blah. But until then, I'm reveling in the fact that there is no brand split until they decide that there is one again. That is the narrative I've created, and that is the world I'm living in.
Since the tag titles are unified, does that mean it's just going to be Jimmy versus Jay? That's Survivor Series? Does Roman have to fight himself?
Well, no. Triple H is in charge now, so it'll be Jimmy and Jay versus Pretty Deadly.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I wouldn't want to see that. Can we instead get Damage Control versus the Usos?
No, that's literally not how that works.
I mean, I'm all for intergender wrestling. So if you want to give me Io Shirai and Dakota Kai versus Jimmy and Jey Uso all day,
Yeah.
I'll take
Listen,
it.
Super
I'm not
kicks,
saying the match
chops,
won't
everything.
slap. The match would bang, but I know
A lot of
WWE
euphemisms
doesn't
used
like.
in there, Kitty.
Shut the fuck up, Vince. Let me talk. I know WWE doesn't do intergender. I'm literally talking about this with Will tomorrow. They don't want me to have nice things. I just want Rhea Ripley ruining everybody. And I don't get that shit.
All she ruins is Dominic.
But Nia Jax can get 69 and RKO'd in the Royal Rumble. So
I'm sorry, she can get what?
69 and RKO'd. I said what I said.
No, I think you're missing a number in there.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine.
Mr. Warren Hayes, spit or swallow.
Let's okay. I will do the first spit of the show.
Do it.
I'm going to spit this week's Dynamite. I didn't like it. I thought it was. I feel we're going in cold to the big Arthur Ashe show this week. I don't think I thought the show was suspiciously flat, as opposed to last week where we were coming off the shenanigans and everything felt like we're taking charge. We're grabbing this bull by the horns, and everyone was hitting the ring. MJF was cutting his promo, Mox was cutting his promo, everyone was hitting the ring. It was just like going, we're tearing it up. You get Danielson and Paige having a great match. You have a great pure title match on top of that. This week, Danielson and Jericho rule. Don't get me wrong, but it was a very, very flat show. Very, very flat. Yeah, okay.
Um,
I don't know what you guys think, but like in any circumstance, there's good moments regardless,
yeah,
right?
Yes.
MJF's promo I thought was very good at first, and I know, like, for some weird reason and maybe someone will want to focus on this specifically, so I don't want to necessarily dive into it, but the Stokely promo, a lot of people thought it was weird. I was like, no, this is fine. Give me a stable of mid-card dudes who want to go after mid-card titles and answer the call that everyone keeps saying, I don't care about the secondary titles because don't feel important anymore. What about the All-Atlantic title? No one ever gets involved in the All-Atlantic title. I'm dizzy right now. So we have the mid-card guys going, yeah, I'm going for the pure title. I'm going for the mid-card title. I thought it was fine. I thought it was maybe a little long, but I thought it was fine. But otherwise, I thought the show was just like flat.
It was there. It was a show.
I agree with you.
And really quickly going into Arthur Ashe next week, which is a fucking big show. It's a big deal for them to go back. They're coming in. They're doing great numbers, great ratings, and there's still a lot of seats left at Arthur Ashe. I was expecting something that would be just leaving you chomping at the bit, but I don't know.
I agree with you, Warren. There was like a lot of stuff that just felt like it was there. It didn't feel like a show that had urgency to it. And it should have been like a go home show almost, going into a pay-per-view or like a premium live event, as they're called nowadays. Aside from getting confirmed that it's Danielson versus Mox and like the promo with Stokely Hathaway and MJF, like everything else just kind of felt like it was just there. Like there was no urgency, no motivation. Well, aside from like the Acclaimed and like maybe like Swerve in Our Glory interacting with each other, like aside from that, nothing else felt like it was being built up for next week. So I agree with you. It wasn't a bad show. I just thought it was just bleh. Hospital Jello.
Question from the ignorant. So you were talking about Jordan Grace doing gender neutral matches for titles and things like that. Is Max the Impaler? Who is Max the Impaler?
Max the I'm sure you've seen Max the Impaler on Twitter. They're an enormous like Mad Max type character. You know, they come in with the post-apocalyptic, I'm going to rip your face off and then I'm going to eat your shins for lunch kind of person, you know. And Max, well, I don't know. And Max was just because having that for dinner, and then tomorrow, like for lunch, having, you know,
of course,
toast, whatever. See, you have to, you know. Max is fantastic, fantastic wrestler, and gender neutral on top of that.
Okay.
Yep.
I was just curious because JJ was swallowing hard swallowing. Max the Impaler being the wild card against Jordan Grace at Hard to Kill. And that is my little side, hey, Impact exists for this show. So
that's nice though. That's going to be good because Jordan's a powerhouse and Max is a terror, an absolute terror. They had a really good match with Camille at that dreadful NWA show a couple of weeks ago. But as an aside, Camille delivered that entire weekend. Camille is one of the saving graces of NWA right now. But Max and Camille had a great match with each other. So this will be good. I'm excited for it. Good. That's very good news, actually.
I don't know how a company that decided Trevor Murdoch was world champion couldn't be putting on banger after banger. Anyway. Katie, spit or swallow?
No swallow. Johnny Gargano versus Chad Gable. Chad Gable is one of the most underrated people on the rosters in general. In-ring, promo, like anything that kid does is great. And it was Johnny's first match back, and Johnny looks incredible. Like, he made a nice Instagram post talking about his transformation over these past 9 months since Quill's been born, which baby wrestling, watching Johnny's matches will always be my favorite thing. You look confused.
Who?
Matt? Yeah.
No, I'm listening.
You look confused.
I was waiting because I was going to say that I understand the struggle of Johnny Gargano because having a young child, being home for a young child, can be very draining and time consuming, let alone finding the time to practice your craft, get the ring rust off, get into ring shape, and then go out there and do all of these things. So
yeah, and like in that post he talked about how he like attributed diet and training with wrestling, and he was basically just taking a break from everything wrestling related while he was taking care of the kid, helping Candace taking care of the kid, which precious baby. That match was great. Everything I wanted it to be. I could watch this match every Monday if I needed to. And the possible pairing eventually of Kevin and Johnny, that idea, because Sammy's still an honorary Uso, and I'm not getting Kevin and Sammy at this moment, which kind of sucks. But if I can get Kevin and Johnny, PWG guys, tag teaming, I'm in. Because fantastic team going against Otis and Gable just as a whatever. It's perfect. It uses everybody. Austin Theory can try and get involved because he's a little bitch. And then we can just get Johnny versus Theory for the case because Austin Theory doesn't deserve that fucking case. And I was there and I watched that shit happen live and I'm still mad about it.
Unfortunately, it seems like Otis and Chad are like wrapped up with something with Braun.
They're wrapped up,
which is unfortunate on so many levels.
So many levels. Yeah, but I agree with Katie. I thought Chad versus Johnny Gargano was the best match of Raw. Probably the best match WWE had all week, maybe.
I'm fairly certain Kyle from the Apron Bump, for those of you who don't know, who is the comment on the screen right now, has a word of the day calendar or a word of the week calendar. Turgid was on it because turgid is a word that I have seen him use at least once in a group chat and then now here. So he's getting his reps in with turgid, and I'm proud of you, Kyle.
An SAT word.
We're all proud of Kyle. The Just as a quick aside, though, because I agree entirely with what Katie said, and I agree. Like I Gargano and Gable is
That's an
unquestionably
X-Men.
that would be he's like he's a cyborg now. It'd be fantastic when you think about it, though. But the his match that was absolutely WWE's best match this week, without a question. And but I think we also have to recognize how much Triple H is ready to put his faith in Chad Gable, because Chad Gable is not just he's not going out there winning matches and being the top guy, but look at what H is doing with him right now, right? It's like, look, I'm bringing back some guys, I'm reinventing some guys. Who is he putting them in the ring with? Chad Gable. We're getting Kevin Owens back in the prize fighter mode, has a banger with Chad Gable. He Johnny Gargano, Chad Gable. Look, for good or ill, Braun Strowman and Chad Gable, right? It's like he knows that's the guy that's the go-to that H has right now to put his guys over, and you got to give him props because he is delivering on every occasion. Even if he's not actually performing Japanese ocean suplexes.
Chente, you're next, but if you need to apply lotion, I can go in your spot while you take care of your duties. Chente, I think you muted yourself because we can't hear you anymore.
Muted.
Sorry. Second biggest follow of the week for me. NXT going back to its roots. The white and gold, it looks like, because the logo is like black and gold, but like it's white and gold. But I love the way they closed off NXT 2.0, the 1 year anniversary. I like it. They're going back to that, and I hope they continue to build on that because there was a lot of good in 2.0. And hopefully they grab some of the goodness from 2.0 and black and gold and make this white and gold like the next best thing.
You sweating over there, Vince?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was very interested in the new logo reveal, the fact that we're going back to every other week TV tapings. Obviously the complete and total demise and burial of what was NXT UK, possibly getting ready for the launch of NXT Europe as its own thing with no prior history. I'm curious to see if we're going to get new championships now that they're unified and what they will look like. And if we lost, as what did you call it? Color Splash? Color
Run NXT.
Color Run NXT. Now that that's gone, we don't need Color Run NXT championships. I'm very curious as to see where this is going to go. Also, as I said, leading into Survivor Series, if they're going to be a part of Survivor Series now that Papa H has that little bit of control. So
let NXT be in Survivor Series again and fuck up the main roster like they did last time. Clean sweep.
I'm not as excited as you guys. I'm sorry. I really am not. It's, I'm my theory, but like my perception of the Triple H era right now is that it's a lot of window dressing right now. We're bringing stuff back. We're pulling things out of the boxes that we all stored away. When we shacked up with our partner, and now that we kicked our partner out, well, we can pull out the boxes of all the cool stuff that we had put away because our partner didn't want to see it around, kind of thing. Just like letting wrestlers say wrestlers on TV again, and they can name the referees now. It's a hospital now, not a medical facility. Ooh la la! He's bringing the logo back. Fine. That's cool, and I think I personally think it's weird that on the first anniversary of them doing their transition, and goddamn, did they drive that one hard on us? Did they make us want to believe on it? And suddenly they're like, yeah, exactly. We're all just gonna scooch that away And now we're bringing back the thing you liked, but all the people I liked aren't there anymore. So what's like next week? We still have all the same people. We still have the Von Wagners and the Brooks and Johnsons and Jensens and Bransons, and we have the Nikita Lionses and the Lash Legends. They're all still there. And the thing is that, you know, I feel like there's a lot of talk in regards to Triple H coming in and doing things and people getting excited. And I think it's okay to be excited because all of these little things that Vince would take away would indeed pile up and annoy us, right? And I'm completely in agreement with that. But I haven't seen significant changes. Outside of longer TV matches, better TV matches, people that I like are being pushed again, sure. But I haven't seen any significant changes. SmackDown tonight is proof of that again, right? I mean, there's everything that I don't really like about the product is still there. And what's being presented to us is just like, here you go. Here's a cookie. Wow, NXT Black and Gold is back, but everything that made Black and Gold has been gone for, some people would say, a year. We could go into a good 24 months to 30 months. It hasn't been around anymore, you know? So I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens. Like, I'm going back to the same old adage of WWE, let it play out, as Alexa Bliss once told us. So, you know, that's all I can do at this point. But, you know, I'm in a show, don't tell type of situation right now.
Okay, I hear you on that. I'd like to believe that this is going to be the first step towards something more. And as you said, I mean, we're seeing people not only getting TV time, but getting prominent TV time, i.e. a Johnny Gargano who would not be there if Triple H was not in there, let alone putting on the match that he put on with Chad Gable on Monday Night Raw. And one of the biggest complaints was the WWE wrestling style and not letting them wrestle and blah, blah. So I have to give them credit where credit is due. I don't think it is going to be an immediate full-on right out of the bat, full-on facial, that this is going to be a slow coming process over time. And as we get a little bit more here and there, a little drop here, a little drop there, eventually our faces will be covered and it will be all brand new. So
yeah.
What did you once say? It's a marathon, not a sprint, right?
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Right, Vince? It's not about quickies.
Yeah, Vince.
It's all about the foreplay. Yeah, Triple H, like right now, like Triple H hasn't changed everything, like Warren said, and to like pick up on his analogy, he's basically taken his Funko Pops out of storage and rearranged the furniture is all he's done. But the feng shui of the room is so much better with the furniture rearranged and the Funkos out in display. So I'm just gonna let it continue to crescendo, Warren. And we'll see in a year's time.
SmackDown is still the same absolutely dreadful show that it has been for months. I haven't liked SmackDown in such a long time, and it is a dreadful show. So it's but look here, we could maybe wrap it up on this. I don't expect sweeping changes in WWE because they have a formula that has made them that have turned them into $1 billion company. Why would they change it at this point? Why would they change it when they're, and I talk about this on my own podcast, why would they change the formula when they're going to be in renegotiations next year for their contracts, which are up in 2024 with Fox, with NBC Universal, right? Why would they start making big changes now? None of it makes sense. And so I don't, on that aspect, right? Because they want to get more money. So they want to continue going and you know, again, to be perfectly balanced here, the Triple H era so far has proven, you know, better gates, better ratings. Business wise, it's been up. Good for them, you know? So I don't see any significant changes happening to the product moving forward, at least for another 2 years. Maybe once the ink is dried on the new mega billion contracts that they're going to have with Fox and NBC Universal or whoever, right? Because they're negotiating. Possibly Time Warner, Discovery, Universal, NBC. Maybe at that point, then we're going to try out some new things. Then let's get crazy kind of thing. But I honestly just don't see it so far.
Warren, spit or swallow? Not that you didn't talk enough.
Okay, Dad. Okay. I'm going to break out with a swallow here from an extraordinary match that I watched this week from over in Japan. Did you guys know that Taka Michinoku has his own promotion in Japan called JTO? Just Tap Out. That's the name of his promotion. And he puts on occasional shows, so on and so forth. And he usually invites a bunch of his friends from all sorts of promotions, including New Japan. And he had an event this week on the 12th. It was called Taka Taichi Despi Mania, referring Taka Michinoku, Lord Taichi from New Japan, and El Desperado again from New Japan Mania. It has nothing to do with mystical iron gloves. Otherwise, I would not be talking about this. Trust me. But El Desperado had an absolute fantastic match of the year candidate with one Jun Kasai, who is a legend of Japanese deathmatch wrestling, and it was absolutely fantastic. And I'm not necessarily your biggest deathmatch fan. I can stomach it to a certain degree. There's guys out there, like Matt Tremont, where I think it always goes too far. The light tube, so on and so forth. I'm like, eh. But this one here, the match that we had with El Desperado, who is a junior in New Japan, right? And you've probably seen him. He has a beautiful mask. Just absolutely fantastic. And they wrestled such a brutal fight, and a brilliantly brutal fight, full of emotion, super compelling. And I would even go as far as to say, if you're not into death matches, this one is also for you, kind of thing. You know, I think it's one of these death matches that's good for people who don't like death matches, because it's not crazy and, blood spilling out of people. So on and so forth. There's the barbed wire boards and the razor boards, and they use actual knives on each other and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. But the match itself is just extraordinary stuff, like really, really good stuff. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And especially when it comes to El Desperado, the year that he's been having, breaking out. This has been a breakout year for him, because he wrestled Jon Moxley recently on a New Japan of America show. He's wrestled Kazuchika Okada in the opening of the New Japan Cup earlier this year. He lost, but still a fantastic match. Like, he's been having.
Who beats Kazuchi?
Yeah, Jay White. That's who. There you go. But just an extraordinary year that he's been having, and again, a fantastic emotional match, one that had me on the edge of my seat towards the end. The final third of that match is just absolutely crazy. Chaos. Love it. Absolutely love it. There you go. I
mean, that sounds fantastic, minus the fact that there's no mystical iron glove, and that is extremely disappointing.
And that is. See, I regret ever telling you about that.
Second question. In this new promotion that Taka Michinoku, who was in WWF, so I can say his name properly, started, do they ever or frequently string people up in the back and threaten to chop off their members with samurai swords?
Fun fact, he wrestled against his former Kaientai partner, Dick Togo, or as Kristen likes to call him, Dick to Go, in one of the matches in that evening. No one was being strung up. There were no katanas, nothing of the sort, unfortunately.
No choppy choppies.
No choppy choppies. There were PPs, but they were all well conceived.
Okay. Oh, that's not fun.
I also prefer Dick to Go. I think most people do. Indeed. I miss Funaki. Is Funaki there too?
That was Funaki. No, Funaki. No.
Oh,
And the funny, Taka started that. Just as a quick aside, he started that promotion a couple of years ago because he was fired from New Japan because he was caught cheating on his wife, and apparently that is a very. But apparently, this is from what I understand in regards to Japanese culture. That is a very serious offense. Like that is something that does not reflect well on your employers. So he was removed from New Japan because he was being adulterous, and so he lost his job. And he's like, okay, I'm going to start up my own promotion. Then that's how this one kicked off because boy needed the money.
Very interesting, actually. Seeing as in WWE, cheating on your wife is just something the boss does on a regular basis, let alone paying people out for it. So
hey, you get
fired
pushes for it.
Yeah, you get pushes for it. Why not? So, Katie, spit or swallow? I'll take Vince's spot till he said he was hearing nothing but static again, which is what the issue was when we first got on the call. Because I don't know what was going on.
I don't know.
Need to maybe, buy some merch from us so we can get Vince new headphones or better internet, something.
I'm going to spit Jerry Lawler's existence. Okay, so I cannot stand this man at all. His comments are not needed. He is not needed on anything in the year 2022. He can keep his talking about puppies and a bunch of other bullshit. He can keep that shit in the 90s and early 2000s. I don't want it. I don't care. I don't want anything, any comments, any racist, sexist comments from that piece of shit ever again. And if he ever talks shit about Bianca, he can personally catch my hands.
Agreed.
Why would you bring Jerry Lawler on to comment about stuff going on in the women's division of WWE?
You could have brought on anybody else. Jim Ross for all I fucking care. Bring him back. I don't care. He's definitely not as bad as Jerry fucking Lawler. It blows my mind that he's. I hate him. I fucking hate him.
And the body language from the two people who do the bump or whatever, talking raw talk, whatever.
There you go.
It's
you got
called.
It.
The body language they had, the one guy was standing up and he sort of went, you saw his body shift, and the girl, she looked at the dude and she went and she was literally cringing. Like, it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because why are you going to talk about, Bianca Belair's in her 30s? Who fucking cares? She needs to cut her hair. No, the fuck she doesn't, dude. Get out of here. Like,
I'm actually surprised by that because the old saying that we've heard is if you're not Harry, no Jerry, or something along those lines. Or if you're Harry, no Jerry. I don't remember. I think it was the opposite. Flair prefers hair, no hair, no Flair. And if you're Harry, no Jerry. I think that's what it was. So maybe that's why I wanted to cut it. Also, on that note, with Jerry Lawler being on those shows, they went from Raw Talk and Smack Talk to Raw Dog and Smack That Ass with Jerry on there because he's an old perv, which is why it was so cringe because those are terrible, cringy names. And I agree. We don't really need Jerry. Like, I'm watching 97. Like, I just got to Shawn losing his smile, and I'm watching it. And it's hard to listen to Jerry Lawler back in 97 when he was at his peak, let alone now in 2022. This is not someone we need to continue to bring back and give time on a microphone.
No, not at all. Especially when he's literally stuck in the fucking 90s talking about all this shit. I went back and watched, Unforgiven 2002. And that was, of course, the angle with hot lesbian action I talked about with Brie Kyle. So obviously Jerry Lawler losing his fucking mind about it. Anybody but Jerry Lawler. If I see him on another kickoff panel, I will scream, drive to wherever, and personally throat punch this fucking old man.
Kick him in the dick.
Fair.
No, I'm throat punching so he can't fucking talk anymore.
Chente.
Before I go,
No, hold on. Whoa.
What?
I'm addressing you, sir. Quiet. I noticed that before you disappeared, there was a body and lotion next to you. And now that you have disappeared and come back, both the body and lotion are gone. And our viewers in the chat have made some accusations about what occurred while you were gone that I would like you to address.
the only thing that occurred was my internet was crashing once again, so I had to reset everything all over. So, no, I didn't go and beat my meat. Jesus. Why is that the narrative? Why, like, I don't like that's become the narrative here.
I mean,
I just want to acknowledge the listeners. That is what they thought was going on. I have no idea how that idea got put in their heads or why that narrative exists.
Maybe the constant every show disappearing for a few minutes. Maybe that probably doesn't help.
It's called a bathroom break. It's called bathroom
why
breaks.
Why are you taking a bathroom break during the show?
Because I'm drinking during the show, and I need to relieve my bladder.
So am I.
All right, Chente, spit or swallow.
Before I do, what was Warren's? Because it got
you would have
static.
no idea what Warren's was. He was talking about Takuma Chinoku, samurai swords, penises, dick to go,
Samurai Jack.
Yeah, something about Despy. There was a lot in there that I'm sure you did. Have you watched anything outside of American wrestling?
No.
Okay, then you have no idea what Warren was talking about.
Okay, so I'm gonna continue. We're gonna continue. I'm gonna swallow Damage Control capturing the women's tag team titles from Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez because they deserve it. They should have won it. They were wrongfully pinned. Dakota was wrongfully pinned. She was not the legal competitor in that match. So they are the rightful champions. Also, fuck Aaliyah. B, I don't claim Raquel Rodriguez. So this is a win-win. Win. So swallowing that.
You want to fuck Aaliyah. It's okay. We understand.
No, fuck Aaliyah. Like I want her to like Thanos.
Okay. Want to fuck Aaliyah?
I want her to Thanos. She is to me what Lash Legend is to Warren Hayes.
Extremely talented and well booked.
No.
The difference, because I'm with Vince. The difference is that Lash Legend is brand new to wrestling. That's the main difference.
Aaliyah's been doing this shit for 10 years and not.
I ain't never said Aaliyah's good.
Also, the way she sold the finish at the end, what was fucking terrible. Like she flopped like a magic carp. I wasn't about it. No, just thankfully that's over.
I will agree with you, though. I thought Damage Control should have won. I don't know why the decision to put the titles out of anyone in that tournament was decided to put it on Raquel and Aaliyah, especially for a short time. Like, you're trying to bring prestige back to your tag team titles. So you give them to a thrown together tag team. I'm assuming because it was Raquel, and then you have them lose a couple weeks later to the team that probably should have won the fucking tournament in the first place. So
I think they were just trying to throw a swerve in there, but I thought it was stupid.
See,
wasn't
this is the shit that still happens that has Warren Hayes being like, see, this is just like them putting a mask on, but it's still the same old perv. Like
they're validating Warren is what they're doing.
You can paint your face, but you can't hide your STDs, WWE. Like on that note, Mr. Warren Hayes, spit or swallow.
Hey, okay, let's go right ahead and swallow Danielson versus Jericho this week. And I think the main reason why I'm swallowing it is because I wanted it to be better than their all-out match. I think the all-out match was dull as drywall. And when I talked about it, it shocked a lot of people because it wasn't that bad. No, here's the thing is that I think at some point you can grade on a curve. I honestly think at some point you can grade on a curve. And if you're getting Chris Jericho, who everyone says is the GOAT, right? One of the greatest
No.
to ever do it. No,
No.
we're just talking. We're just shooting the shit here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that we,
Not
No,
ever.
no one here.
but
No
you
one
know, veteran, so on and so forth. And Bryan Danielson, who in my opinion is the greatest North American wrestler to ever do it. You put them in a ring together, they should be, at the very least, getting you out of your seat for shit. The all-out match, I don't know what happened. Like, I really don't know what happened in that match. I was like, what the hell is going on? This cannot work for these two guys here. 2 weeks later, we're on Dynamite. We're in the main event for the Arthur Ashe. We're in the semifinals to get to the Arthur Ashe finals. And they just deliver something that was super compelling and so well structured and a great story to boot in there. And as much as I think everyone was like, of course it's going to be Danielson that's going to win, right? I couldn't see, Jericho pulling one out here. It didn't make sense to me. But they made me doubt. They got me in a couple of times. They're like, oh shit, are we really going to go down this road? It just worked wonderfully. I loved it. I honestly, it was the highlight of AEW this week as far as their matches go. And that's a big swallow for me.
I will agree with you on the match. While I am not a huge fan of what some people consider to be the GOAT, however, while we were on the subject of Chris Jericho, I am going to throw in a little spit of my own. I believe that Chris Jericho fully forgot that he is the last surviving member of the Heart Dungeon, which isn't even fucking true, at All Out, which is why the match sucked. Also, he came out and cut a promo tonight where he said he was world champion in all of these companies, including WCW. He was never world champion in WCW. He was WCW champion in WWF. He has never held, because he said everywhere, you were never Impact world champion, sir. They never had you over there. You didn't do shit over there. I'm tired of Chris Jericho controlling his narrative on TV, rewriting his history like the colonizer that he is. It's pissing me off, and I'm sick of it.
He never won the IWGP World Heavyweight title in New Japan either.
Your wife got caught storming the Capitol. That doesn't mean you just get to pretend that the history is whatever the fuck you want to make it. Like, that's not how the world works. Stop.
True.
You did a lot of shit, but stop changing what you actually did to make it sound better than what it was.
And get
Chris.
the fuck away from Claudio and the one world title that man has won.
Fucking let
Nobody wants to
Claudio
see you
beat
hold that
Chris.
shit.
Like, he's not gonna beat.
If
better
Koki
not,
Khan pulls some shit, he can also catch hands. Just saying. Anyone can catch hands at this point.
I was gonna say I'm kind of afraid myself now.
I know I'm
Never.
catching hands. I know I'm
Never.
catching hands at some point.
Now Vince will always catch hands. Warren never.
She wanted to drive all the way to my house to like beat the shit out of me when she was in
Honestly,
Chicago.
I'm still mad I didn't.
Never had an address. Never had an address.
I would have gotten it.
Okay, Jesus was gonna hook her up. Katie,
He doesn't have the address.
Yes, sir.
can
Yes,
you
he
put
does.
the hands down for just a couple seconds to spit or
Yes.
swallow?
Of course. Anything for you, Matt. I'm swallowing. Matt's gonna appreciate this. Dexter Loomis. Everything Dexter Loomis has been so fun for me. Just I don't know what the actual motive behind him fixating on Miz is, but standing outside the house, and then just constantly like moving from window to window, and then being in the house and just showing the beautiful picture that he definitely drew of Ms. Maurice and the kiddos. I don't know where this is going, but I need Indy involved to kidnap somebody. Maurice. I need it to happen. I'm just saying.
This is why I love professional wrestling. This is what gets me hard in the morning for professional wrestling.
Okay.
It is When a Stranger Calls, Ms. and Mrs. Special. He is doing an interview. He's outside the window creeping. They get in the car. He gets mad because he's got his PTSD and they're asking him these questions. Fuck that. Then you leave. And now he's in the house with the children and the mother-in-law, I'm assuming, or Mrs. Mother,
No.
whichever one's actually living in their house right now.
Whoever was
Whoever's
watching
there.
the kids.
I needed follow-up on SmackDown. That's what the fuck I wanted. Like, I need to know what happened to those children. There is no brand split. Can we, like, was he in the closet? Did he kidnap did Maurice and Miz come home and the kids were gone? Like, I can't wait another Monday to find out what Dexter did. I am so invested in the idea that, as you said, Indy possibly, but mostly Dexter right now, has not only captured and possibly sexually assaulted the Miz to the point where he is afraid to talk about it because it hurts, but now has somehow made his way into the Miz's house, which we saw with, again, my boy, The Fiend, who also did some spooky, creepy shit in Manor Mar Miz, whatever the fuck they call it. And also I enjoy looking at Maurice, so anytime they get her on my TV is a boon for me as well. So
true.
My theory with the kids is that Dexter Loomis has kidnapped them for the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and this is all going to be settled at Crown Jewel.
Oh man, that took an actual turn I was not expecting.
Oh, I thought you liked these wacky storylines.
I'm 100% about that.
Say it, that's why. I have no problem with that. I just wasn't expecting that to come out of your mouth.
I want the kids like bound and gagged ringside next to the Crown Prince. Miz has to win and then go save them.
I think
dark.
And that would be a better main event than what they're trying to give us right now. Neither here nor there.
Talk about that.
I'm actually with Jesus. I think Dexter had a tea party with them, and they're gonna like watch the security camera and see it and freak out.
Honestly, they probably were just having a great time. He was just like, he doesn't have to talk. He can just let them play. Just, I think he'd be a great babysitter.
Tucked him in, silently read them a bedtime story.
Just showed them the pictures. It's the picture book, obviously.
Picture book that he drew himself.
Chente, unless you have anything more on kidnapping.
No. Sami Zayn has kidnapped my heart with his performance in his match against Ricochet this week. And the continued story with the bloodline, like Sami Zayn is coming up. Like you know how like in The Simpsons, like everything's coming up Millhouse, everything's coming up Sammy right now. He got a brand new Bloodline official T-shirts. He had a very solid match, even though he didn't win because Jay's a little bitch and he's jealous. Solo Sikoa, he helped him get that dub. Obviously, Roman Reigns is infatuated with him. He came in and like took over for the Wise Man. So I'm just swallowing Sami Zayn. And the Ricochet match specifically.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit earlier with Solo winning the title, coming back, choosing Sammy over Jay and Jay's internal issues and everything.
Sammy dancing behind Solo Sikoa while he made his entrance was hilarious.
Also, Sammy interjecting himself and telling Paul, maybe Roman should have had me come out here and talk instead of you, Paul, to Logan, was also fairly entertaining because Paul Heyman just throwing the microphone saying, you know what, fuck it. Fine, go ahead, Sammy, whatever. That's the whole reason I'm here. But,
I love Sammy.
Yeah. So, yeah. Who doesn't love Sami Zayn? Raise your hand. Nobody? That's what I thought. Sammy's the shit.
There.
Another fantastic Canadian.
Just
not generic at all. Mr. Warren Hayes, spit or swallow.
So it's going to be me. I'm going to have to do it, I think. I'm going to have to do it. I think it's me. It's on me at this point because no one's bringing it up. We haven't even talked about it. We haven't even alluded to it. Dominic's full turn this week.
I was waiting.
That's it. That's an official full blast, completely lip puckered spit on my end, but also hilarious though. Like it was funny. The promo in the darkness with the fading out faces, and I'm like, look, there's only so many smoke and mirrors that you can do with this kid because none of it's gonna connect, none of it's gonna work. And then next thing you know, Dominic Mysterio, the Dominic, is main eventing Monday Night Raw.
The Dom.
The sub.
This is the year. The sub. No, I know. The sub. Main eventing Monday Night Raw. I don't see it. I don't see it in Dominic. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know why. I don't know what there's got to be a long game to this because I really don't.
Didn't Aaliyah main event in the women's tag team tournament finals? If Aaliyah can main event, so can Dominic and basically anybody else.
Well,
I was going to say
that's a fair point.
on the Monday Night Raw on the eve of Hispanic Heritage Month, I think we can allow Dominic Mysterio to main events of Raw. I think that's fair. However, let me see if I can make this help you, Warren. So what I enjoyed about what we saw from Dominic and Rhea was that basically Rhea fed Dominic all of his lines by whispering in his ear everything he had to say about how he is his own man and he makes his own decisions that Rhea makes for him, not his father. Also, the power of pegging is strong in Rhea. She has that man on a very short leash. You saw Ray came to talk to him, and Dom was not given permission to speak, so he could not. He just had to stand there and act as if Ray did not exist. This full control, mind, body, soul, and all holes that Rhea has over Dominic Mysterio is fairly appealing to me, because this is the power of a leader of a group like the Sexecutioners that she has and holds over someone like Dominic Mysterio. So I don't know if that helped.
Like the way you described it, even before you described it, Matt, like I loved everything Judgment Day. Like I like it. I like Dominic. I thought his gear looked better. Like I like the remix to it. I like the promo he cuts. Maybe I'm a little biased here. The whole dynamic with Rhea, I think it's fantastic. I think it's interesting. Like the backstage stuff with Ray, I liked. Everything was good. I even enjoyed the match with Edge. I thought it was all good. Even the post-match beatdown. I thought I liked everything Judgment Day. I'm even swallowing Bandana Finn. Like all of it. He hung around Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio way too long. Like he hung around them 1 week. Wait, what?
Nothing. Go ahead. Continue.
Oh, I thought I was cutting off for my Wi-Fi was being asked again.
You were. So Katie was going to say something, and then you just jumped in and cut her off. So then you froze. So I was going to let Katie go, but then you came right back. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just. It happens. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I don't know.
The real battle for Pornhub Poppy is whether or not Vince is going to let Katie speak. Katie, thoughts on Dom?
Listen. Overall, it's just a gargle for Judgment Day. The Bohemian Rhapsody ass promo was fun. It was bad, but it was fun. Yes. Specifically for Rhea, just like, hey, how you doing, little mama? Let me whisper in your ear type shit.
I see a little silhouette of a sub.
It basically, literally. They are Eddie and China, the original Mamacita 2.0.
No, they're not.
Eddie, Ray, fuck, Dom, whatever fucking Mysterio it is. Dom can't do a Three Amigos. That's for damn sure. Which sucks, because like Eddie's your dad. How can you not do the Three Amigos correctly?
Well, I mean, because it's Dominic. No, but I don't like the comparison with Eddie and China, because Eddie was in love with China. He courted her. He gave her
until he ran into
roses.
The Godfather's house.
But this is 2022, and now Rhea is in love with Dom, and she gives him pegging and
she loves
nipple clamps.
No.
She loves control. Exactly. 2022. Women taking over. Women rolling men.
This is what Eddie and China, the dynamic would have been if China was the Dom in the relationship.
They did it in the Attitude Era with Luna Vachon and Goldust. They did it back then. If they wanted to do it with Eddie and China, they could have done it. But it's a whole different thing. Eddie was in love with China. China felt beautiful and wanted with him. And it was a love story. This is not it. It's
Did he-
deviant and it's
did
fun, but it's something else. Come
Did
on,
he
man.
court her on Hispanic Heritage Month too? Like what? Is there a parallel here?
I will have to look it up, but it was a long-standing court.
I do want to say that I would like to point out something that I've heard various other podcasts point out, but we want to point it out here too, that apparently there is a strange Australian fetish in the Mysterio family.
Yeah. This is true.
So I will say this. Speaking of Goldust in the Attitude Era, nipple clamp, dog leash Goldust is my favorite Goldust. Outside of electrocuted stuttering Goldust. So
You broke Warren. You broke Warren.
It's all this shit that I push back. You know, it's like doing a podcast with Matt is like talking to my therapist. He's gonna drag back some shit that I've been pushing back for years.
while we're on that, I'm gonna drag something out for Katie too, because I know Katie's not a huge Goldust fan because she had to watch Goldust wrestle in the back of a truck in WCW as Dustin Rhodes, and it is the most terrifying and horrible experience she had to ever witness, and then go talk about on a podcast. So
Yeah, it was a terrible time. Goldust versus Goon number 85 on the back of a moving truck in bales of hay. I'm still mad at Pretty Kyle for that, by the way.
Was there?
Sounds terrible.
I think it's me.
Yes, because Warden had to spit Dom, and then we spent a lot of time talking about pegging nipple clamps and all those fun things. And
All that.
I see a
did or
little
you did?
silhouette of a sub. We did. It's a joint. It's a conversation, Vince. That's how it works. If it was just me, you guys would all be muted, and I'd just be talking. But we all participated.
Yeah. I'm finally done with wrong. I'm swallowing the cage match on NXT. Pretty Deadly and the Creeds. Having Julius, who has been on a fucking tear, be the one to get handcuffed to get. He sucks. He's just a pain in the ass at this point. But it works for this story. Having Julius be the one handcuffed to the cage and not being able to escape, and his I'm assuming little brother, I don't know how their dynamic actually works, but we'll just call him the little brother, Brutus, having to take on Pretty Deadly by himself, kicking out of their finisher for the first time. That was there was a good way to start NXT, and I love the Creeds, especially Julius. That kid is good. So having this be their opener for their 1 year show was smart. And I also did vote. I voted for a cage match because I knew that shit was slap. Whether they listen to the people or not, I wanted a goddamn cage match. Because I was like, oh, no one will get involved. Damon Kemp. But it was so good. It was so smart because then you don't really have the Creeds losing clean at all because one of them's literally incapacitated and not being able to get off the top rope. It was smart. It was good.
I agree. Shout out to Booty Man 2.0, Brother Brutus, for actually getting some shine. He's kind of taken the back seat to Julius over there in the Caesar Creed camp. So shout out. No, I was happy to see him actually get some shine and let Julius be locked up. It was good for him because he needed it. So
and apparently
also Julius is
older.
He's the older brother, so baby brother got some rub. How many other Butcher, Barber, Brutus, Beefcake, Zodiac? What else we got there? Booty Man,
Zodiac? What?
Priest, or what was it? Priest or Disciple?
Yeah.
The disciple.
All of the names that Hulk Hogan and gimmicks Hulk Hogan gave to Brutus, the Barber. Beefcake,
Brutus
the
the
Barber Beefcake in WCW to try and get him over, and the only one that really worked for me was the Booty Man. So,
anything associated with Hulk Hogan sucks. So,
actually, the Booty Man is like it would be Vince's favorite gimmick. He literally cut holes in his pants and his ass was hanging out. Like he was the Booty Man. He had the Booty Man
wants
from Hangman.
Straight up
I
ass,
just want,
ass cheeks.
but he never lets it hang. He's not living up to the gimmick.
We're not having this conversation right now.
Other than Hangman's Wang, spit or swallow.
I only have one of each left, so I'm just gonna finish off my swallows. And I'm gonna swallow the number one contenders fatal 4-way tag team match, the main event at SmackDown. That was better than it had any right to be. The like Top Dollar and Butch interacting was fantastic. Xavier Woods popping off and hitting everybody with all his comeback moves. Like Imperium doing the tag team wrestling. Like everything about that match was so fucking fantastic. And as I was watching, I was like, everyone in this match, with the exception of Kofi Kingston, came from NXT, and it's just like it's cool to see that you know it's a thing. You know that all these people come from NXT, but it's not like until you sit there and just like actually look at it that you actually like it hits you right in the face, you know. But the match was fantastic. I loved it. I'm glad that the Brawling Brutes won. That was a great outcome because they're gonna have a great match with the Usos. They can take the L because I don't want Hit Row to take an L just yet. I don't want New Day and Usos again. And Imperium, I don't want them to take the L towards the Usos because it doesn't seem the Usos are going to drop those titles anytime soon, just like Roman. So Brawling Brutes seemed like the logical choice in my mind. And I just love Butch, and I love me some Sheamus, and I like me some Brawling Brutes. So all around, it was a good time.
I'm with you on that. I 100% think that at least one half of the Brawling Brutes, Butch Made, Peter Dune, will put on a great match with the Usos. I don't have full faith in the guy who broke both his legs in NXT and couldn't walk for like a year and a half.
Ridge Holland.
Ridge Racer.
Yeah. Rim job.
Ridge the Fridge.
Not really sure about him, but Dune, Peter, Butch should do fantastic with the Usos, and I'm very interested to see how that dynamic plays out.
Mm-hmm. It's a fresh match. It's a fresh match. Yeah. That's fantastic.
The main thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I also forgot to mention this earlier. Warren was talking. We were talking. There was things about Will Ospreay in the PWI 500, and I meant to say this, and I saw it in my notes, so I'm going to throw it in here real quick. Will Ospreay should never be ranked higher than the leader of the United Empire, the Great Okan. If it was not for the Great Okan, Will Ospreay would not be considered the greatest wrestler in the world because he is the leader of the United Empire, and he helped Will Ospreay become the wrestler that everyone believes him to be and owes everything to the Great Okan.
That's what makes
that's the narrative
Okan
I can get
great.
behind.
That's how you got the name.
Matt, that's my favorite bit of yours. I want you to know that. That's my favorite bit of yours. Every time
all it
took
took
out,
was
I love it.
Him to visit America and hit some strip clubs and do his thing. Yeah, ride a giant cock. Like, doesn't take much to please me.
And then
apparently not.
Konosuke Takashita, he goes and he eats cinnamon buns, right? And this is what he does in America. Great Okan gets the full USA experience. Let's be real now.
Well, clearly, Konosuke Takashita is very vanilla compared to the fantastic Great Okan, leader of the United Empire, and the reason that Will Ospreay is considered one of the best wrestlers in the world today. So, pay your respects.
Pay your respects.
Mr. Warden Hayes, spit or swallow.
Luigi Primo, he makes it the pizza on AEW. That was fantastic. I did talk about. Look, here's the thing. This Luigi Primo being on AEW proves two things. One, you can have a viral video of you doing something completely nonsensical in a ring, and someone will pay you money to show up on TV, right? Two, the other thing this proves, Tony Khan is way too much on Twitter. This is what
yes.
True.
This is proof. But because it was hilarious, like just the execution, it didn't go overboard, right? And it's like if you didn't know who Luigi Primo was, like you never go on Twitter, you didn't see him do the thing with the
pizza,
the pizza dough. Thank you. And you didn't see him do that, and you're like, who is this geek? It doesn't matter because Page took him out like in the blink of an eye, and the way that Primo died, he just sort of half turned and just fell off fell away into the nothingness that is off frame. It was so fucking funny, and I loved it. And honestly, look, Tony Khan's too much on Twitter. He sees a guy flipping pizza dough. He's like, I'm going to bring him in for a dark match. He does his dark match. He gets his payday. He goes home, and then he can boost his rate to all the promoters afterwards. Good for him. Luigi Primo, he liked the pizza. He liked to make the pizza, Luigi Primo.
Well, I am conflicted as per the stereotype that Luigi Primo may be portraying. I will say I watched the clip because I am also a too much on Twitter, and it was actually fairly impressive how he continued to spin that pizza dough while wrestling.
And then I was looking at this and I was like, I'm going to be on Smackin' It Raw this week. Clearly, Matt is going to dig this. More great characters in pro wrestling, right? This is what we want in our pro wrestling. Perfect stuff. I was excited to chat about this.
I prefer my Dons to my pizza dough tossers.
Your Don's lost this week, so how's that for that?
We don't talk about that. Stop. The best part about Luigi Primo was him falling. That was the best fucking part. That shit had me in stitches.
Me too.
What?
Vince brought it up. I'm going to talk about it. First off, Vince, Joe Wayne Gacy should not have been allowed to be in that match. Once the bell rings, you are not allowed to just make yourself a competitor in a match. Cameron Grimes said he didn't want no goddamn tag team partner, so Cameron Grimes shouldn't get no goddamn tag team partner. The Don got fucked again, and it is atrocious the way they treat that man in NXT.
I think he's getting his justice.
Go back to your unmarked vans and your bald Brock Lesnar knockoff wannabes in the NXT parking lot and stay the fuck out of the Don's business. And I don't understand why everyone cares or gives a fuck about Cameron Grimes anyway, unless he's still got a bunch of that money left over. Like, why everyone wants Cameron to join their group. The Don had it right. It's like, I gave you two options. You said, no, all right, now fuck you. I'm going to kick your ass. Like, it is what it is. But Joe Wayne Gacy's just fucking obsessed and won't let it go. And then gets involved somewhere he didn't fucking belong. He didn't. He wasn't in the match. He was not a legal competitor in the match. This is fucking Dakota Kai and Io Shirai all over again. This was not a legal win. This should not count. Take it off the books. It's bullshit.
If Tony D'Angelo just have minded his business, his own business, he
did.
No, he didn't. Because he's over here talking to Cameron Grimes. It's like, leave Cameron Grimes alone.
Oh, you're not allowed to have conversations with people in the background?
No, he's
because
not.
You're Italian?
Because he's a terrible manager. He can't lead a faction. He can't lead a group. He barely has Tony two dimes.
He's at least better than the group that he defeated, took over, and then ran out of NXT, because that guy was doing fantastic, keeping his people on TV, letting them win matches and do things, wasn't he, Vince?
We'll see. We'll see. We'll circle back here and see who's actually doing better.
Yeah, he pulled up in an SUV, took them off TV, and now we haven't fucking seen them. So great job. Way to get your guys paid. Good job, Santos.
He is getting paid.
I'm with Matt on this one.
No.
I know you are, and I appreciate it. Katie?
Yeah.
Unless you have anything more about the pizza-tossing Italian Luigi Primo, spit or swallow.
No, just the fall was great. Where do I want to go with this? I'm swallowing Super Diva Quincy Elliott. I love them. It's everything I want. Confidence in everything you do. In ring, not bad. Quincy Elliott, from what I've seen, has only had like a few matches on Level Up or whatever the hell, their version of Dark. But all of the promos leading up to them showing up, the scooter, everything, the entrant, I love them. And this is what I like about NXT, is all the characters that we get. And Super Diva is definitely like slowly moving up my list of characters recently in NXT. So huge props to Super Diva. And they got their first win on real TV. because level up doesn't count.
Yeah.
I agree. Vince, you have one left, right? So we'll do one from everybody, and then depending on what Warren and Katie say, I may give one because I've got a couple things on here. So
Okay. I'll wrap my stuff up with my only
you should
spin
always
of the
wrap
week.
it up.
Sometimes I don't. Triple H replacing tag teams in the tag team fatal 4-way match that I just complimented. I don't know. Maybe did I miss something as to why there were so many changes to the participants in the match?
Yeah, because Braun Strowman fucked up the entire tag division. So we had to get new people.
And
we were on
Eric,
SmackDown this time, so we used SmackDown teams.
So
I think Eric is injured of the Viking Raiders. I think he's
they weren't in the original one. So the original one was
okay.
So it was Street Profits, New Day,
Raw,
SmackDown. Chad Alpha Academy,
Chad Gable
and Los
is busy.
Obviously, and Los Lotharios. So my spit is Triple H. No, Lotharios are SmackDown.
They're everywhere. Why does it matter?
No, they're
Yes,
they're
they
SmackDown. They're SmackDown. Triple H replacing Los Lotharios in the Fatal 4 match during Hispanic Heritage Month and on Mexican Independence Day of all fucking days. Make a Fatal 5-way match. Take out someone else. That. I think that's disrespectful. I think that's racist. I think that's the biggest flaw and fault that he's ever done in his entire wrestling booking career. How dare you take off my only Mexican tag team in WWE on Mexican Independence Day? I think that's blasphemous. I think that calls for what's the word I'm looking for?
Triple H to get canceled.
Revolution.
No, not that. Not canceled. I'm thinking of a word, but I'm flustered. I'm furious.
Does it end with ED?
No, I don't know. But the point is, drink that. I'm just it's why take him out? I don't think it was on purpose, but still, it grind my gears.
Because there were other better tag teams to be in the match.
No.
Yeah.
You don't take out Los Lotharios on Mexican Independence Day. I think that's wrong.
I don't think that was Triple H's plan. He was just using the better tag teams.
No, Los Lotharios are one of the better tag teams. They're one of the most handsome. Actually, they are the most handsome tag team in all of pro wrestling.
I disagree 100%.
I'm going to let Vince have this one on the account that it is Hispanic Heritage Month and Mexican Independence Day. I'm going to make a ruling here, and Vince gets this one win. Yeah, I know. It's a beautiful flag. It was great before they put the eagle on it when, it was over in Italy. Beautiful flag. Love what you've done with it. Fantastic. Mr. Warren Hayes, spit or swallow.
How about spitting Orange Cassidy blindsiding Pac? Could that have been the least Orange Cassidy type behavior that you could imagine, right? Pac is just there. He's cutting an interview with, the greatest interview face of all time, Alex Marvez. And then all of a sudden he gets blindsided, and I'm like, who's the son of a bitch? Is it Matt Hardy? Is it is it Ethan Page who's coming to collect already? That's fucking Orange Cassidy. When's the last time Orange Cassidy ever did something out of his own initiative like that? That's overly aggressive, not chill, and it's a fucking heel move. Let's be honest. It's weird. It was a very, very weird thing for me, and it's created this disconnect for me. I
don't even know who the average at best friends are anymore.
Who the what?
The average at best friends are anymore.
Oh, well, they're best friends.
They're average at best friends. But I'm with you. It was weird. That's not anything Orange Cassidy. What are we doing?
It's a complete disconnect from everything that is Orange Cassidy. It's on top of the fact that he's got animated enough to cheap shot a champion, which is so weird. He was in a feud with Chris Jericho that deserved cheap shots. Never did it. He was on, cool man. Now here, doing that, and it's a heel move on top of that. I really didn't. Speed.
I agree.
But thankfully, we got Luigi Primo. He liked to make the pizza. That was cool.
And we have Danhausen. So, like.
Yes.
Very nice, very evil.
Katie, spit or swallow.
Oh, I'm not gonna figure out what my last one to be because I definitely had more. I know you're one you're gonna talk about, so I won't say that one. Samoa Joe versus Josh Woods was good. I'm swallowing that. I'm more so swallowing Wardlow coming out at the end of the match, dress pants and all, no shirt, as I like him, saving Samoa Joe. I'm putting in quotes because Samoa Joe didn't necessarily need saved. If I know we're getting a tag match next week because Rampage is 2 hours. So we're getting that tag match, but I would love to see the Samoan named Joe and the War Dog, War Daddy, Wardlow go toe to toe.
Oh, no.
That's a dream. Oh no.
That would actually be fantastic. I agree.
It'd be so good. It would prove Wardlow as a
squash.
Fuck you. No.
Vince is not a Wardlow fan, Mr. Warren Hayes. How could he be? He doesn't watch Dynamite, but
He doesn't watch
Or
it.
Rampage.
Warren made it very clear before I brought him on that if you were to spit or swallow anything from Dynamite, you had better fucking watch it before you spit or swallowed it.
I'm entitled to do what I want. It's Mexican Independence
No,
Day.
no, okay.
I'm
no,
independent. I've gained
and
my
all
That
due
can't
independence.
be your excuse the whole time.
In all due respect to, and Matt knows exactly what I'm. It's the day there was this one episode because I listened to the podcast and I listened to it and I enjoyed it, so on and so forth. And I don't remember what exactly what edition of Dynamite it was, but you were talking about Dynamite and you were like, I didn't really care for it, blah blah blah, which is fine. Look, I did the same thing tonight. That's not a problem. It doesn't bother me. I really didn't care for it. There was this and that and but then later on, someone starts talking about Chris Jericho, and you're like, "Oh, Chris Jericho popped on my TV when I was watching Dynamite, and I turned it off." I was like, "Well, how were you able to comment on the entirety of the Dynamite show if when Chris Jericho, when he appeared on that show, was early in the first couple of quarter hours? How were you able to have this great?" Like this well thought out opinion of all the events on Dynamite if when you saw Chris Jericho you went click and then you went off to do whatever you do with your lotion and your Mexican blanket.
Simple. The minute Jericho shows up, I just turn off, and on that instance alone, that criteria alone, Dynamite as a whole gets a spit.
Listen to this guy.
All right,
Warren gets it.
I agree. Josh Woods does need to get away from Nice and Sterling for the love of God.
True.
Shout out to Bakley. Thanks for being in the chat, along with everyone else. JJ, Getcho, Just, our boy, Pretty Kyle, Jesus, everyone that joined us tonight. Thank you guys all. We're gonna end this on a happy note. We're gonna end this on a happy note for Matt, because Matt got something, and there are rumors of something coming that Matt has been hoping, praying, and waiting for a very long time. On SmackDown tonight, after the women's match where Bayley defeated Raquel Gonzalez and Damage Control beat down Raquel Gonzalez, outruns Matt's favorite female wrestler, Shotzi Blackheart, to make the babyface save. And rumor has it through the grapevine, and I pray to God it's true, that the motherfucking tank is coming back, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Give me babyface Shotzi and give me my fucking tank. That's all I want. I will swallow every episode of SmackDown based solely on Shotzi and the motherfucking tank.
And the helmet.
And the helmet. Yes, it's my favorite thing in professional wrestling is Shotzi Blackheart.
Have her howl again. All of it. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Let's do it.
So, That is my final swallow for the evening. Mr. Warren Hayes, thank you again for joining us. As always, we appreciate it and all of the knowledge of Japanese things that you bring to my show that does not exist when you're not here. Please tell everyone where they can find you, check you out live on YouTube every week, all of that fun stuff.
Well, live on YouTube is when I record my podcast every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. The Mr. Warren Hayes Show is what it's called. So I, recap things that are happening over the course of wrestling. And if you can't make it live, that's fine, because the video on demand is there as well. YouTube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. And if you're like, YouTube is for weirdos and kids, I am not interested in that. Well, hey, then you can head on over to your favorite podcast app and you can find the Mr. Warren Hayes Show there. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all of those. I'm even on Amazon Music, if you can believe that. So there you go.
And IMDb.
And yes, you're right. And I haven't even checked that out since we talked about it. I haven't checked it out. I have to make sure I'm getting properly credited for all my extra work.
You should.
Chente, are you okay?
Yeah.
You look distraught. You do.
Me
You look,
every day of my life.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You don't want to talk about anything? Nothing?
No. We've talked
Okay.
about everything that needs to be talked about. I
Okay,
gave my last spit
You
and
looked-
or swallow.
Afterwards, you just looked very sad sitting there on the mic as Mr. Warren Hayes was plugging his fantastic show that everyone should go watch. And I just wanted to make sure that you were okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you're out of
fine.
lotion and we need to hurry up and get off the show so you can go run down to Walgreens before it closes and get more. I don't know.
No, it's
Let me
1
know
in the
what's going on.
morning. Walgreens is closed
I said Walgreens
regardless.
sold. Holy shit. Walgreens, I got
My Walgreens is 24 hours.
No, Walgreens are 24 hours.
Come to the suburbs. Katie,
Yo.
1 year as Shaman of Sheelite independently, and a fantastic show that had a great message to close it out from some jackass that you met online. Go ahead, plug your shit.
Yeah, She-Lead as a whole hit 1 year yesterday, which is fucking crazy. And the message he was talking about is from him. So
Some
you're not a
jackass. He's not
jackass.
important.
You're not a jackass. Stop.
Got way too much
but-
credit on that show. You need to stop.
We're talking after this. If you want to watch anything She-Lead, you can follow me on Twitter at KatieRasson13. Link to my bio, take you all things She-Lead Showcase. Twitch.tv/She-Lead Showcase. Typically Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, unless something happens. YouTube.com/She-Lead Showcase. I have a 1 year of She-Lead in 25 minutes. I took literally every clip from every single video on the channel, put it in a video. It took me 3 hours to do. So please go watch it. For the love of God. Show me some satisfaction. Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts if you want to listen, but watch the videos because they're better. A new Inside the Mind Dive is dropping on Monday with Lo from Wrestling Wind Down. I'm actually interviewing Kristen Ashley on Monday, talking about PWI stuff. So even though she wasn't here, I'll still get to talk to her on Monday. There's a lot happening within the next few weeks. Oh, I'm on Botch Boss and Chair Shots tomorrow too. Fuck. I'm doing a lot. There's gonna be a lot for Sheely these upcoming weeks. So stay tuned.
As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SESVince. Oh. What? What?
Chente,
Yes.
please go ahead and plug yourself for the
Well,
fans.
it seemed like that's where we were going. Like Katie was
Listen,
done.
here's the thing. This is how the show works. I am the host. You are the co-host. I say Vince spit or swallow. You don't just start spit or swallowing before I prompt you. That's not how we do things here. I tell you to plug yourself. You plug yourself at my beck and call, please. Please plug yourself for everyone.
I
else.
love coming to Thanksgiving at your house, guys. It's so much fun.
You're welcome anytime.
As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SESVince. The link tree in my bio will take you to everything Straight Talk, Spitter Swallow, and Smackin' It Raw. So go ahead and click the link there. Follow, subscribe, like, download, all the good stuff. We do wrestling shows, wrestling-centric shows, basketball-centric shows on Straight Talk. So go ahead and hit the link tree and just support. So I very much appreciate it.
And as always, you can follow me at Matt Ritter, MATTRDDR on Twitter only. Also, Smackin' It Raw Pod is on Twitter. You can check out our link trees, linktree/Smackin' It Raw. Gets you the audio and the Pornhub and all that fun shit for Smackin' It Raw. Or linktree/Creation World, which will get you everything Creation World, including Creation Comics, hashtag them dragons, which I may or may not be back on this week. We will see how that goes. CreationWorld.com will also get you all that stuff, as well as links to our merch store where you can get those Pro Wrestling Pro Choice t-shirts and some awesome Smackin' It Raw swag and other things as well. On Twitter and Instagram at it's Creation World, ITSCREATIA World. Please go follow them and check them out because they are the banner under which we exist. For the first gentleman of the Kristen Ashley show, the shaman of Sheelite, and Daddy Delgado, I am the Warden, Matt Ritter, the patron saint of podcasting, and this has been Smackin' It Raw Podcast, the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub.
There you go.